Welcome out to M&T Bank Stadium here in Baltimore. I'm Jerome Solomon, of course. This is Aaron Wilson, the Houston Chronicle beat writer for the Texans, and he covers the NFL as well. And he's a beat writer. The word beat, very important today. Texans were not just beat, they were beat down by a team that showed up to play and really cranked it up after the first quarter, and the Texans just never seemed to get anything going.
Nothing at all. And, it was pretty shocking to many of us to see them just completely ineffective. And for Deshaun Watson, the first time in NFL or college that he'd ever been shut out in the first half. And they narrowly avoided the shutout. If not for Carlos Hyde, they come out of here on the wrong end of the scoreboard, even worse. And I think when you look at what happened to them, they did nothing to handle a team that didn't really rush the passer very well until today. 6 times that you see Deshaun Watson sacked. They couldn't run the football, completely out of rhythm. And it was as if they never...
Let's get into that rhythm a little bit. The pass rush really got going later. They got some sacks early, and a lot of that was on Deshaun. Then the pass rush got going. But I asked Bill O'Brien about the running game. The Texans have been running the ball so well here for most of the season, frankly, but certainly in the last few weeks. And he said, well, it was 14-0 before you knew it. And then he corrected himself because it wasn't before you knew it. It wasn't 14-0 until halftime. And they never seemed to try to establish the run.
Right. It was a disappearing act by the running game. And I think the game plan was flawed. They tried to dink and dunk at the beginning of the game. It was very obvious that they weren't in a rhythm. They tried to do a lot to force feed the football to DeAndre Hopkins. That wound up being really a strategy that was just completely wrong-headed, because what you could have done, I think there were yards to be had running the football. They didn't have Michael Pierce, their stout defensive tackle, playing in this game. The Texans knew that all week, that he was unlikely to play. He was scratched today. I think without him in the lineup, you need to attack them with Carlos Hyde.
But let's forget about tonight's game. Let's talk about what's coming up going forward. The Texans are now tied with the Colts at 6-4 atop the AFC South. The Colts come to town on Thursday. The Patriots come the following Sunday. How serious is it getting now?
Right. This is a tight, tense time, because this is where your season can go one or two ways. And they look like, based on today, like maybe they're going to crater. And we're going to see, what did they do at home in a pivotal game that they've saved guys for? Will Fuller, Bradley Roby, probably could have played in a pinch today. They held them for this game. Is it going to make a difference? Because if they don't play any better than they did, the Colts game is going to be irrelevant. They're going to essentially win the AFC South on Thursday night at NRG Stadium. It'll be ugly. And that's when I think things really hit the fan, because you have failed when it counted. When you needed to be clutch, you weren't. You beat the bad teams, that's fine. But I think when you look at this team and you want to say, well, where do they stack up? Right now, you can't call them one of the best teams in the AFC. And the only way for them to get back that respect and to be relevant in this race, they have to win Thursday night. Well, it's a must-win game.
That's why I'll argue with people over whether or not they're one of the best teams in the AFC, and it's probably saying the same thing. They're not one of the best teams in the AFC because they're not consistent. But when they're at their best, they're one of the best teams. They just don't bring that every week, and that's the thing. I have no doubt they can show up and beat the Colts on Thursday. I don't know if they will. I don't doubt that they can show up and beat the Patriots at home on a Sunday night when the place will be rocking and the Patriots offense isn't all that great. But I don't know if they will. And that's the kind of thing that a game like today, had they come out here and lost 31-28 and went up and down and put in a fight, or lost a close one 14-13, we'd be saying they still showed they're one of the best teams, they just didn't win. When you get smoked, that makes it a little different.